Wow.
Voila, that's a good starting moment. I think this gives us the slot to begin the meeting. Good morning, Francesco.
Ciao, good morning.
Good
morning.
Good morning, my friends.
Good morning.
Welcome to the meeting. It's, I think, an important meeting that we are having here today together for a project that we, I think, all already somehow love and support and appreciate, which is EFFEA, a mechanism, morning Lelo, a mechanism that hopefully will support many, many emerging artists across Europe in different countries and festivals to take these young artists under their wings. I apologize, our president, Jan Bries, who cannot be with us for personal reasons this morning, but we are recording the meeting. He wanted to participate, so he will be able to access the meeting, and also all those ones that have not had the chance to register afterwards. So you be aware that we record the meeting just for internal purposes, of course. I finished last time my contribution during the EFFE Hubs CAM meeting in Yerevan. Not all of you were there, but just a few words. Those that were not there, good morning, Jovanka. Those that were not there, it was a meeting in which in particular Davinia and Lelo presented the idea further to apply as a group, as a collective group, for a grant under the Erasmus Plus program. And it was a very, very, I think, inspiring meeting, because I saw the process of people that took the time to brainstorm and to understand the added values of everyone for this Erasmus Plus application, the needs and the interests in such a joint project. And I finished indeed by saying I admire this process of taking the time and getting up the voices and really collectively shape the program under which you are going to apply under this Erasmus Plus grant. We are aware that with EFFEA, it's a kind of different story somehow, because different in a sense that we all together have, in a very quick process back in August, we have joined this process, we have signed up an agreement, and we have written an application, I think in 3 weeks' time, more or less, and delivered it to the European Commission under the platform strand. And a couple of months later, we received the good news that we can do this project and we can embark on the project as we have delivered it to the European Commission. It was quick, and we were able to make it in such a quick way because, of course, EFFEA is not the first project that we are working on. It's a continuation, in continuity, basically, of a very strong collaboration, I feel, we have as of 2014. When with most of you, we started this process of labeling festivals under the project EFFE, Europe for Festivals, Festivals for Europe. And it was the time when we started to establish the Hubs system that joined the CAM members at that time, the collective members in EFA, in reaching out to festivals locally and regionally in your different regions. So it was quick, but at the same time, of course, also a continuation of already a very long process and a trustful process of collaboration that we have lived through in the past 7 years by now together under EFFE. So thank you very much, first of all, for your continued trust, and at that time for your readiness to jump on this application in August, that I think is really giving a good mandate to this process, and gave the trust to the European Commission as well to assign this grant to EFA. Coming to the project itself, it is quite a straightforward process, and it's designed in quite a straightforward process because, as you know, the whole idea is that a lot of the money that we have achieved to get from the European Commission is going to be given to the artists, and mainly to the festivals, to attribute the money to the artists. So there is actually in this process very, very little space for maneuver and little time for rounds of discussions to dive deeper into. But today really is the moment for all of us to look into the project. We will present this project today to you in detail. And it's the moment to gather your feedback, your input based on our presentation in order to launch the project. As you have already seen, I think, in the introduction email to you, the biggest challenge, in particular in year number 1, because it's a 3 years process, 3 calls in 3 years, is time. And why is this the biggest issue in year number 1? It is because we are setting up a process while at the same time implementing it at the same time, which means that all the facilities and all the, let's say, the regulations that will govern this process are being put in place or have been put in place partly in the application, but are being put in place right now, which is the platform, for instance, on the technical facilities. It's the call, it's the criteria, it's the branding, the communication. It was the team with Donika Rudi here that we have in the room, who will take over the presentation in a minute of EFFEA to manage the project. It's the jury and so forth. So all this is a setting up process, while at the same time, we need to launch this call as soon as possible in order to implement a first edition of EFFEA already in year number 1. We have prepared a presentation, so we maybe can start briefly with this presentation. I suggest that we are, and we can already go through the first slides, even the next one. This is the image of my introduction, that we are constructing very carefully and quickly a project together. I will now not do a round tour à table, because I really think that almost everyone knows each other, but just in 3 slides to tell you who is in the room and who did we invite for this meeting. We invited for this meeting, of course, first of all, the platform partners. The members officially signed the agreement with EFA to be part of this platform process, which is 12 organizations you see here on the screen, plus eventually Turkey and Felice, who is here with us, because at the moment Turkey has not signed an agreement with the European Commission for Creative Europe, but there might be a chance to include third countries into the call under certain conditions that we are still negotiating with the European Commission to allow countries that are not part of Creative Europe with the 20% co-financing to be part still of it. So for the time being, it's these organizations that have been officially part of the platform. The next slide shows the members that we have in EFA as collective members, we call them, CAMs, in short, collective and affiliated members, which are listed again here on the screen. So all those ones that have not signed, for example, Kai with Finland Festivals is not part officially of the platform agreement, but is eager and happy, and it shows, Kai, that you are here. Thank you for your participation, that there is a willingness to take up in bits and pieces, and in the way that for Finland Festivals, for example, just as an example, it's interesting, but also for the Federation of Flemish Music Festivals to be part of the project. And last but not least, we have the last slide of EFFE Hubs that we have been working with in the past throughout the process of EFFE. Also, these hubs in this project now have been invited to the meeting, because again, I think the idea of EFFEA is to reach out to as many festivals as possible with the information that we would like to provide to festivals in order to give young artists from all across Europe the chance to know about the call and to participate in the call. That is why the meeting today does not only include the platform, official platform partners and members, but it includes all those as well that have been part of the EFFE process and that are able and willing to contribute to this project altogether. This, in terms of brief introduction from my side to kind of set the floor. And with these words, I would like to hand over to Donika. Donika is the EFFEA coordinator. We are very happy to have Donika, or to win the collaboration of Donika. Donika is an artist herself, a young artist, we might say as well. So she knows what young artists are looking for. She's a composer. She's running her own festival in Pristina, in Kosovo, Re Musica. We have been knowing each other for quite some time. So she also has the perspective of an artistic director within a festival context. And she's living here in Brussels for some time with her family and knows also a lot of the European context. So I'm very, very happy, Donika, that you are with us in this project and supporting this project. Gerd, Audrey, Anna, and Katharini, who are here with us as well from the EFA team in setting up EFFEA and give it the right direction. And I think it's good, Donika, that you take over and present more in detail what we are planning to do in the next couple of weeks.
With pleasure. Good morning, everyone, and very happy to meet you virtually this time. It was my pleasure to meet you all in Yerevan. Some of you, with some of you, will have other occasions. I'm very happy to present EFFEA project, which is very close to my heart because as an artist myself, I know how it is to look for this visibility, European visibility. So I understand, I see myself through this project 20 years ago, and now that I'm internationally everywhere and missing a bit the local activities in my own country, but yeah, that's why EFFEA, I find it very important as a project, and I'm very happy to present it in details and go through it. I'm very happy for your contribution and also the contribution, of course, of the team of EFA. All together, we'll try to build it and to develop it and to improve it before the call. We'll start with the slides. Okay, what is on the agenda? We will talk about the EFFEA call, the details, objectives, communication tools, jury, your role, timeline, and so on. Okay, what is EFFEA? I guess you already had the opportunity to know more about it, and but it was built on the idea to explore, to discover the talents and support emerging artists by offering them a platform to develop their career through the festivals. So the idea is to launch a call for the festivals. It's not for the artists, but for the festivals who will take under the wings the emerging artists. This project, as Catherine mentioned, will be in 3 years. We'll start with the first call, which will be launched this October. And for 3 years, 150 festivals and 50 emerging artists will be part of this project. The first call, the first generation with 50 emerging artists will be launched in October, as I said, and the implementation will be between January 23 and December 23. We can continue with the slides. Okay, objectives. The idea is to offer the artists a market to be presented and produce. As I said it before, it's very important for the artists, not only for young artists, but let's stay in these terms as early career artists and middle career, because maybe they have a huge work that doing a talent and work that are doing in their own countries, but sometimes we need the visibility. That's why we are working on this idea. The second is to bring the festivals. We are still in the objectives. Bring the festivals together to support them, to support the artists, and collaboration between the festivals. The idea is to the festivals will benefit from the network. That is what what's important in this project: collaboration between the festivals, new programs and new artists for the festival, and financial support to promote these artists in a European level. And for the artists, they will benefit of different things, such as research, network, residencies, workshops, and so on. But we can talk in details after we talk about the categories. We can go in the next slide. There are two categories, two types of the grants. The first one is EFFEA Discovery, Artists in Residence, and this is a category which is for the early career artists, the talents that they need the European visibility. And in this in this category, we have different are included different residencies, production results, workshops, training, mentorship, and support to reach out to local communities. There are intake, outtake seminars, and so on. For the second category, EFFEA Treasure Artists in Residence is included. So this is a category dedicated to the middle career artists, and the first one was for the early career artists. For the second one, in this package, let's say it's included the residency, of course, and then co-productions. So their works will be presented in different festivals, and that's why it's important to have collaboration between the festivals. The minimum is 2, but we don't limit. If there are 3 or 4, it's welcome as well. Okay, we can continue with the next slide. Conditions and criteria. So the leading festival is the festivals that host the artists and submit the application. Partners festivals are festivals that produce the residency. What is important is that this collaboration happens between the festivals for both of the categories. The hosting festival, the leading festivals, needs to apply together with 2 partners from different countries, all eligible countries. Also, the artists that will be proposed, they need to be, they can be of different nationalities, but they need to be based in one of the eligible countries. This is important. And also the start and the date of the residency must fall in the grant period. So if we start on the 1st of February with the residence, then the latest date, the end of the date of the residence must be latest 31 December 23. It is open for all artists of any age, gender, and nationality. So let's continue. The festivals needs to be registered in Festival Finder, and this is important because we find that the Festival Finder should serve you as a tool as well in order to know or to discover or explore the new festivals coming from all over. So let's try to build to have diverse application with different kind of festivals, and not to limit ourselves in one region, let's say. The artist, when we talk about the artist, we don't mean an artist alone. It can be a collective, group, ensemble. You are free to to do it so. And yes, what is important as well, a leading festival can apply with one project per category as a leading festival, but apply for multiple brands as a partner. Yes. We can continue with eligible countries. Eligible countries at the moment, we have the list that we are looking here. As Catherine mentioned, the Turkey, United Kingdom and Switzerland are to be confirmed. We'll receive, as soon as we have this information, we will let you know. But otherwise, the rest stays the same. The festivals, as I said it before, it's open to all the following art disciplines, as you see in the screen. Yeah, we can continue. How to apply? Yeah. So here we will need some information about the festival, leading festival, but also for the partners. So we know a bit what kind of festival it is, which discipline it is. And then we also need information about the artists. But the jury, of course, will not judge the quality, artistic quality. Is the festivals, the festivals themselves, but still we need a biography, links, proposal, ID of the artist, and why you consider this artist relevant for this fund. We also, it's important to have the motivation, why this artist, why this consortium and a residency program. We will also need, during the application form, we will add the templates, budget template, even though the budget is fixed. Is fixed in two categories. For the discovery category will be 8,000 euros. While for the second one is 15,000 euros. But anyway, we will we'll put also a template, a budget template, in order to know how you will how we will use this fund. We'll also have two different letters, which are very important. The residence letter of intent with the artist, and also the co-production letter between the festivals, between the partners, the leading festival and two other partners. Yes, we can continue. Co-financing. Yes, the selected partnerships will conclude the partnership contract between each other, of course. The project is funded for 80%, which means that the remaining 20% of the budget needs to be funded by the actors of the project. So the 20% of the budget is added by the hosting festivals, and 10% needs to be added to the budget of the residency, and 10% budget is for co-financing of the project. I will see if I have to add something on this or no. If not, we can continue. What happens next? So the call will be launched on October 14. Afterwards, the jury will, sorry, I need the water. Maybe Catherine, you can continue for a bit.
Yep.
Sorry.
So we have in total 50 grants that will be given, 40 under the category of 8,000 euro, which is the artist in residence, early career artist, and 10 grants of 15,000 euro. And then, of course, we will communicate about these residencies and about the projects in which we are using, first of all, the EFFEA platform, but also the Festival Finder project. And then we try to follow the contents of these residencies that are going to happen, and they will also as a group be brought together in 2 moments. These artists together with the festivals, we call this an EFFEA intake seminar, which is at the beginning of every let's say generation of EFFEA, and an EFFEA outtake seminar, which is at the end of each generation. This will be done in collaboration with the Festival Academy, and the idea of all this, of course, is that we are increasing basically through this project the networking opportunities and the market for young artists, not only to be in touch and speak to the 3 festivals that are supporting an artist, but also be in touch with those festivals and presenters that are in other projects, involved in other projects, in order to provide a market, let's say, that I think is the whole idea for these young artists, and through EFFEA, to offer them a market to get in touch with presenters and be exposed, let's say, to as many presenters as possible. And this also in the framework of our physical meetings, which next year will take place in Peralada in Spain. So we hope to have in Spain a couple of these artists that have been selected in collaboration with Peralada, and again expose them to the community of festival makers. Next slide. Voila, communication tools. They are very important in this, I think. Donika, if whenever you want to take over, give me a sign. Otherwise, I continue.
You can continue the communication.
Okay, I'll take over the communication. As I said before, communication, I think, is the key in this project because it's not known yet. The name is not known yet. We have, of course, the privilege with you to be in touch with festivals that know maybe already EFFE, and the name EFFEA somehow is connected closely to EFFE. So we hope that we are building on your connections and our connections to the festivals community that we together have built up in the past years. By the way, it's at the moment 2,500 festivals that are registered on Festival Finder. So we are, of course, we are using Festival Finder for registration of festivals, and also for, as Donika said, allowing them to search for partners if they are not using, let's say, their natural network. And then we are developing a series of communication tools, and we will provide these communication tools in the toolkit, of course, to all of us, which is the logo. We are going to have a little clip announcing it. We are producing a banner that can be put on your page. We will produce a social media campaign with pictures and some slogans. We write a press release. We try at least to get some testimonies, for instance, from artists that we involve in the project on the jury. And very important, I think, throughout this whole process, we are keeping, it's not really a communication tool, but a working tool. We are keeping a document we call frequently asked questions that will, I think, help us in these 3 years, after the 3 years altogether, to understand the entire project from A to Z. Next slide, please. Donika, you want to take the jury?
Yes, of course. So the EFFEA jury is the body that selects festivals for a grant. The jury will be chaired by Haris Pashovic, which I guess, I mean, you know him. The EFFEA jury is composed of 15 members of the art scene, different profiles, diverse disciplines, geography, artistic backgrounds, and so on. There are 2 categories which will work in different stages. The first one is the grand jury, which consists of 10 members. So they will evaluate the 80 to 100 projects of the received application and suggest the final selection. And the second jury will work in the next step, as it will consist of 5 members, and they will evaluate and select 50 grants. We can continue with the slide. Here are the names of the grand jury. I think all of them, no, they confirmed most of them. You can see their names. As you see, there are different profiles, and we have artists, we have artistic directors, music, theater, performing arts, and so on. And then the jury will see the names. You have it on the screen. I don't need to. Yeah. Okay. The jury represents a balanced selection of the projects in the term of disciplines, gender of artists, regions, social and ethnic background of artists. We will continue on with the internal process. So the jury is selected every year. It will not be the same jury for these years. Still, the president may stay up to 3 years. Procedures and rules are set up in collaboration with coordinating body of EFFEA. The jury produces a European report resulting from the selection process. Yeah, the decision of the jury is final. I think this is clear. Your role, this is important. I will use again to thank you for your contribution until now, but we also use this meeting to have your remarks, your suggestion. They are very important at this moment before launching the call. You can continue with the next slide. We expect and we hope to have your trust and to share all the information about the EFFEA project. We can continue with the next slide to see a bit of examples of action, sending through calls, including EFFEA in your meetings, sharing all social media and other communications tool, including items on your web page, including articles in your newsletter, speaking about EFFEA in general, and so on. What we will offer directly to you, we will put all the platform partners on all EFFEA communication tools. I believe you already see that we use always a footer in all our communication and emails and so on. We can bring content and speakers to your meetings, profiling towards the European Commission, mention platform partners on EFA website, the EFFEA platform, festival finder, emails, footers, video, and social media announcement. Timeline. You can continue. So as we mentioned before, the launch of the call will happen on the 14th of October, but we'll have an info session on the 13th of October at 12. Application deadline will be until 15th of November. It is possible we received your remarks by email. Thank you for that. We will try to extend with 1 week if needed. But still, with this info session and with our meeting today, I hope everything will go as planned. Results announcement will be in January 23, while the implementation will be between January and December. And yeah, next call of EFFEA 2 will be out in spring 23. If you have any questions, but not only, if you have to share or to add or to I don't know, let's share our ideas together. And if you have a suggestion, free to ask and to discuss and to, yeah.
Thank you very much, Donika, for this presentation. We can indeed work now with the hands system. Alexandra gives the good example, but you can also, if you're not using the hands, the yellow little hands in Zoom, just raise your hand and I think we can see these hands as well and we take note and give you the floor. We have until 11:30, so we have a little hour, 50 minutes now for discussion and for exchanges and suggestions indeed, as you say. Maybe one more comment before, Alexandra, I give you the floor first. We are speaking about EFFEA always as a 3 years project. So we have 3 years of each 1 year a call. We hope in these 3 years that we are building EFFEA and that the EFFEA in generation 1, let's say, in year 1, might and will look maybe even hopefully different than EFFEA in year 3. Which means that I think there is many things that we can do and that we can suggest. We might not be able to do in year 1, but they could be taken up in year 2, just for the reason of time concerns and steps that we might not be able to accommodate in year 1. So we really learn in these 3 years, hopefully, to come to a system in year 3 that is close to what we really want. And as we also know, the Creative Europe program runs until 2027. So there is another application round for the platforms after 3 years that offers a grant for another 4 years. So you see, eventually, if there is a good experience and good results, and we see that this project is needed within the sector, we should not now speak about a 7 years time frame, but there is an option for a 7 years time frame for EFFEA to develop and to learn from the experience generation by generation, year 1, 2, 3, and so forth. So I think that's important to mention for the longer term perspective of the project itself. Alexandra.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for this presentation. 2, 3 remarks. The first one is a little bit funny, but it will be very, very complicated to communicate in French with the word treasure, because it's very pompous, it's very pretentious. Could we still change this word in the second category? Because it's really too much. Actually, we have discovery and treasure. It's only a question. If you agree all about this, we'll make it, but it's very complicated to call a category trésor even in French. So it's only a question. Maybe we could be a little bit modest. Maybe it's a remark. And I think in French it's important. I don't know if in the other languages it's complicated or not, but yeah. Yes, as we said, the deadline is very, very short. I understand why. I know it was complicated this year, but maybe we could still simplify a little bit the application, because 1 month is very little in order to have 2 partners, in order to have all the information. I don't know, maybe the last part on promotion strategies and so on is not really important. I think that it's important. It's the artists, the way of communication, of cooperation, and so on. And I don't know if you have a list already about the eligible costs for the residency, because this is important. I mean, we understood all that it's for artists, but it's for accommodation, for voyages, for food, for the salaries, because I don't know if everywhere, but in France, even in a residency, we have to pay the artist. He'll not be a volunteer. So I think we need only to know which are the eligible costs in order to be very clear also for the festival leader in this project. Okay. Yeah, it's the most important things. And yeah. And it's not now, but maybe we should have a discussion with the partners about the jury, because it's not really geographically equilibrated, if I may say. but this we could do on the phone or really with the partners. It's all. Thank you for
Okay.
everything.
That's cool. Very valuable remarks. I would suggest we will be able to reply, let's say, immediately to some of them. And for the rest, we are collecting now all your remarks and we are going to digest them. And we will, in the next two days, basically, because time is always running, come back to you. So it's, I think, now a moment of collection of all these different remarks. But Donika, you can take up any replies or some information still on every question. Maybe we collect one more, Lelo, and then you see what we can already share now. And for the rest, we are collecting your statements. Lelo?
Catherine,
Yeah.
sorry, last thing about the communication tool and maybe this press release, EFA press release, please send us, I don't know, 4 or 5 days before in order to have the time to translate, in order to do a real communication even in our countries, with medias and so on. So we are small teams, so we need time to translate and to have everything in our language in order to touch also the medias and newspapers and so on. Thank you.
Cool. Lelo.
Hi, everyone. Also agree with Alexandra that would be great to have a discussion about the jury, because of course this comes a little out of the blue for us who are supposed to be partners. But one thing maybe I have misunderstood, but in the previous communications, I thought that the smaller collaborations could also be within festivals in the same country. Has that changed, or did I misunderstand?
Yeah, it was always, it was then a misunderstanding. I think in all EU grants, there is a need of transnational collaboration. So a residency always needs to be amongst programmers that come from different countries. It cannot be just a residency in a country by one festival.
All right, then of course this short deadline is problem, because we eliminate a lot of people that might want to start new collaborations, because that's not possible to set up in a month. But I hope then for the next years we'll be ready. That's all for the moment.
Thanks, Lelo. And notes taken. Donika, you want to jump in, or I give Davinia and then Alexandre first the floor?
No, I can just add. Thank you for the questions, Alexandra, for the remarks. For the name, I don't know if we can change it in this stage. We are about to launch the call very soon, but of course we'll keep it in mind and we'll discuss it. For the budget, there are no limitations as far as the fund is used for the artists and for traveling, for staff, and for all the needs of the artists. So you are free to use it as you want. But we'll make a budget template with some suggestion.
Alexandre, Davinia, you had, I think, your raised hand, and then Alexandre.
Thanks, Catherine. Thanks, all of you. I understand the tightness of the project. So, you know, we're partners, we have this long-term relationship, so it's all fine. And it's a great project. So really happy and proud to be part of it. Yeah, the jury was a bit like thrown at us, but obviously the people involved and the names are very prestigious, so it looks good. I agree with a lot of things that Alexandra says as well. It's very, and Lelo, it's very, very, very tight. So if you could give us, for example, what would be useful for us would be a PowerPoint presentation so that we can, as soon as we can, have a meeting with our festivals in Malta and Gozo to present the project in person as well as social media. So we need this presentation for as soon as we can. A month is tight as well for collaboration with other countries, of course. But I think this is a great initiative, actually. In our case, Lilo, I don't know, with Malta being an island, we really need to reach out, and I think it's great for us. I also want to repeat what Franco said in the chat. Can we see the award criteria? I think you said a bit, but maybe it wasn't very clear. Anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think, of course, time is running, and PowerPoints, the presentation text, and really the communication toolbox is the first one that we need to provide to you, because I guess it's not just a question of translation, but if we have some inputs for their newsletters and things like that, you will have your timing of newsletters and information. And we should not miss, basically, from now on, any newsletter that you are sending out. And a little button maybe that you could use for your web page, things like that, I think. And for social media is really high on the agenda now when we launch the call. So this is coming. When it comes to the criteria, we are going to, or we have, of course, or we had already included many of those criteria in the application itself. We have to elaborate them a little bit more, in particular also in relation or with in the collaboration with the jury. We did not have any meeting. The jury has not been set up or finalized entirely, as you have seen. So in the next couple of days, again, all this is days, we will come back to you maybe with really more defined itchy-nitchy criteria. But the general line, I think, is clear and was already shared in the criteria that we have mentioned before. When it comes to the time, and Lilo, your comment of different countries that can be involved, and maybe that is difficult to set up new partnerships with new colleagues, probably in year one, this is a limitation we will have to accept. I guess that those applying will be those ones that know each other somehow before, and that basically can call a colleague, listen, I have this young artist, I would love to collaborate with you in this and this way. And it will probably not be many surprising new partnerships that EFFEA can create, but the ambition, of course, will be that. And I hope through the process and towards spring, which is already around the corner, spring 2023, when we launch the next call, that this project will become a reference for those that would like to join also in new partnerships. Alexander?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the very good presentation. It's really a great project. I would like only to stress that for the next year, we could, our festival couldn't be the leading festivals because we can't provide residents in our country. I don't, the next year, as for the following years, it's problematic, but I hope it will be possible. But we can provide partner festivals and in one or other terms, and obviously emerging artists. Also, it's necessary to take into account that young artists from Ukraine could be in majority only women because of our situation, and young men now they couldn't go for the long-term residence in other countries. So take it into account, and also we are very with great enthusiasm we shall distribute this information, and I hope we shall find. I have spoken with some our theater festivals here in Kyiv and around Kyiv, and we have some interesting ensemble of women. And it could be interesting also, as I have proposed, that women will play men roles, demonstrating the situation in Ukraine and demonstrating this crazy situation in the world now in the 21st century. It's only some idea. Thanks, and we shall continue. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alexandra, and I hope indeed that we can reach out to festivals as partners and give a platform even in this very acute time. We had, I think, Alexandra, with you online and with festivals present in Yerevan, really a strong narrative and a strong conversation around the topic of the situation in Ukraine. And I'm very grateful that you brought us in touch with these colleague festivals, and that the initiative by Jurian of joining hands and hearts together with you is bearing its fruits. And I saw many breakfast tables with festival makers and their duos in Yerevan speaking about possible collaborations, and also in EFFEA. I hope that we can offer a platform indeed to contribute to the to the development of artists and of festivals as well in Ukraine at that stage and way beyond as well. Franco?
Morning all, and thanks Catherine and Donika and all the colleagues. First of all, I think this is a very good project, mainly for our national associations. We can present to our members promoting a project designed by us, granting young artists. This is the first thing, and I want to repeat it because it's a good chance for us. Then I have to remark, of course, at the very short deadline, because we are taking the risk to grant the fastest project, not the best, and this is a pity. But we can understand this is the first year we have to think about it. And there are only two ways to try to reduce this impact of the short deadline. First one is try to involve our members in all the directly in all the communication by EFFEA. So maybe we can imagine a Zoom meeting with all our members of the National Association with this presentation for them. Could be the first step, of course, in a very short time. I don't know if the 12th or the 13th of October you imagined a very wide Zoom meeting, but if it is, we have, I think we must invite our single members. So to have a very wide number of festivals that can be involved in this project. There are not so big grants, but it's okay. We have to involve and to produce new dynamics also with young artists and a small festival and medium festival. It's very okay for me. About the jury, I really agree with what Alexandra said. There are many TBC I read in the slides you presented. So maybe I propose that when we design the project, that the partner can at least indicate one member of the jury. If it could be possible, I think it could be a great things. And the other thing is that to have a more simple application. Also, I think, as Alexandra said before, that the communication is not so important, and to highlight and specify the award criteria. I think we can help the festival to participate and to highlight what the jury will be able to award or not.
Yeah, thank you very much, Franco. I mean, you all have probably been involved either in juries or you have been involved through own projects in your activities in these kind of selection processes. And the nomination of juries is one thing which always is a point of discussion, of course, and a selection is always only a selection or a nomination. I think important is that the jury changes, that this will not be the same jury for 3 years. So there is, I think, an opportunity. There is a representation in a totality, let's say, of the 3 years that we can really reach. When it comes to the simplification of the application, we totally agree. Franco, we had this experience now with the Perform Europe project, and I think it was quite straightforward, but we are at the moment applying again with this consortium also for Perform Europe. And one of the most important guidelines for our application now as consortium towards the Commission is to simplify. The whole simplification is the word, let's say, on the top. We really hope with EFFEA that we are not offering a new grant application process, but a letter of intent can be 2 lines, a letter of intent between the partners and with the artist. Then the project needs a strong motivation so that the jury can make a difference, that this grant can make a difference to an artist with a strong consortium and a plan behind. That is basically what we want to read in these applications. So we hope really, and we will share these templates with you as well, that even though Donika mentioned various templates now, I still hope that these templates are very straightforward, half a day work, so to say.
Sorry to interrupt, but it's very simple. The application form will be very simple with a few questions only to understand who is the festival, the leading festivals, with who they will they have this partnership, and also some information about the artist. The letter of intent between the festivals and also with the artist, we will prepare it. So there are just a simple things, let's say like a confirmation of this collaboration. That's all.
Okay, thanks. Also, the budget document, if it could be simple and easy to fill, could be great.
Yeah.
It's very easy. You will see.
Nice work. Thank you.
And I think once we are already now speaking a bit about the follow-up, and we are not concluding. Alexandra, I give you the floor in a second, but these are documents that we can also share with you because, as I said before, you have some experience in your own networks, in fundings, in juries, and so forth. So there will be a time eventually on a Google Drive that we have, or that we are now preparing for this project for us and for the partners, in which we will upload these documents. And then if there is comments, on specific things, we are very happy to read them by email from you so that we can adapt eventually. And really, again, I don't want to compromise too much, but we will learn from round number 1. We will make mistakes, we will get feedback, and let's just together try to reduce the frustrations and the barriers that we are putting up on ourselves as much as possible from experience that we already have at the beginning. Alexandra?
Thank you. Yes, a last question. It's very important to have all the disciplines, of course, in this project, but as EFA and even all the partners are from performing arts and music and live sector, is there a quota about the residencies and so on, because it will be a little bit strange for us, for our board, to to discover that, I don't know, 70% of the residencies are in visual arts or cinema or architecture and so on. So the diversity is very good, but I'm wondering if there is a quota for what we are, performing arts.
Yeah, again, for now, we have not foreseen a quota, but have foreseen the principle of diversity as guiding line, which of course needs somehow to be translated in the selection process, which actually could matter for disciplines and it could matter for geographies as well. We can probably also not have all the grants given to Nordic countries, for example. I think the guiding line in every jury at the beginning is that we want to take the best projects, and then from the best projects, try to come to a certain balanced final selection. So, I mean, we cannot now go too much into detail of the procedure of the jury. We can share it with you, how they select and under which kind of parameter they need to select. Many things of this depend also on the amount of applications. It could be that we have 90% applications from visual arts. I mean, all these are now parameters that we don't have a reply to. We don't know actually which kind of amount of applications we should expect. We can maybe all at the end of this meeting have a guess, but if we have 50 grants, and the first round of selection should actually shut or close down to 100. So 100 is the pre-selection in selection round 1. That is cut down to 50 in selection round 2. We need already 100 applications, which is 300 festivals to join forces. Well, we need. I would hope that we have much more than 100 applications, but it could be less. So I think at the moment we analyze, and this is what we will do throughout the process. We will analyze each step. We will analyze the geographies of applications received and of disciplines of applications received. That's already one analysis. And then eventually we have to correct the percentages in the selection. We might need to say to the jury, because we have only 90% visual arts in the applications and 10% performing arts, you basically have to take all the 10% of performing arts because there is only 10%. So really this goes step by step. Start with the analysis, but we will analyze that throughout the process and we will share these analyses with you as well. Starting with the analysis of the applications received. What's your guess, Alex? How many will we get?
I hope more than 100, but let's see.
You don't put a number out? Come on.
We'll have 100 from France, so be careful.
Okay. Alexandra promises 100 applications from France. Very good. Francesco, how many do we get from Italy?
100, the same first edition of
Okay, that's already 200. Jovanka, you raised your hand.
Yes, I would like to ask if we could just go once again through this part of presentation, the role of hubs. Can we just somehow define now what is exactly our role? So what we need to do. So the call you shared with us the time for the call and all other things, but what is our concrete role in this call, for example?
I think the concrete role, and we can go back to the presentation, the concrete role is twofold. It's on the one hand to be arm-length communication ambassadors of EFFEA and reach out to your festivals with the tools that we are providing to you, which you can adapt, of course, and you can personalize, you can translate, you can add. When we send, for example, a press release, you could add a quote from yourself or from somebody in France or from an artist or from your president or things like that. And the second point would be, because we would profile you in this project as the, let's say, the geographical representations, we hope that you would also be the ones who could reply to questions from people, festivals that are giving questions to you. This might not be possible or so easy in the first round because we are at the moment building this and there is questions. We already have now, I think, 2 pages of frequently asked questions, a document that we will finalize now and share with you as well. Then we will have this info session on the 13th of October that will collect, I think, many more questions from festivals as well, because it will be the first time we will directly speak to festivals. And so the second task would be to inform or to give information or to at least direct the festivals to us then if there is no reply to a certain question, so that we can answer to these questions. And in that sense, you could call it an information or an information desk and a communication agent for EFFEA, if I would put a title on those 2 roles.
This is a very strong responsibility, and I mean, what if we cannot make it well, and then we will make a damage to the project if we cannot communicate well. This. I mean,
Yeah, I think, of course, we should ambition to
so
communicate.
we need to appoint one communication assistant in order to be able to communicate for in this period. Maybe it is a good idea to connect to creative desks. Is it possible?
Yeah.
What do you think about this idea?
Yeah, it's a very good idea, and indeed and I don't want to say we also thought about this idea. It's a good idea, and I think it's very important that we do this as well, that the European Creative Europe desks in each country, as well as the European Commission, we are in touch with them as well, are distributing the open call in October as well, on a, let's say on a European, on a central level, so that the Commission takes it up in its own newsletters and that the Creative Europe desks can reach out regionally and nationally to stakeholders. Yeah.
Yes,
Catherine, sorry, I have to leave. I have just one question. Can we anticipate to our members that on October 13 there will be this Zoom meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, and if you can send us the slides, can we already use them, or we have to wait?
No, you can already use them. Okay. We will send these slides, and Franco, in the announcement text that we are publishing tomorrow, that you already received, I think, there is already a registration link to the 13th of October meeting. So when you send out this announcement text, you will automatically invite, but maybe it's good to highlight it, automatically invite for the 13th of October your members.
You're so effective. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Learn by mistakes.
I also see a question from Lilo, which is important as well. I have the question, does the artist have to go to all three partners? The answer is yes and no, because for the first category, the partners can go to the artist, to the host, while for the second category, which we call it treasure, and Alexandra doesn't like it, no, because the artist should be presented, their work should be presented in different countries. So the first one, the partners can go to the artist. For the second, the artist needs to be present in 2 other festivals organization. I don't know.
There is another question, Monica, in this chat. I see Davinia, you are asking, can we receive artists for residencies in Malta and another country without reciprocating in Ukraine? Is it allowed in the project?
Without reciprocating.
Davinia, can you explain? Because my English is for the verb reciprocating not good enough.
It's impossible to have the residency in Ukraine, I think. So maybe we should have an exception. Sorry.
That's exactly, Alexandra. This is what Alexander asked, basically, and I'm trying to read it. It's basically, they can't, if they're a project partner and they can't receive residencies in Ukraine, I think there needs to be some kind of exception for them.
Yeah.
I think it would be great if we can invite them, of course, and they can be a project partner. Maybe we'll have a 4th artist, for example, 3 countries with Ukraine or something like that, if anyone wants to include them. But we need to see what's allowed, obviously.
Yeah.
So, and some I don't know, connections from Alexander of who can come.
Yeah.
I think this is really important for us.
Yeah. I think, Alexandre, I think we see no problems in inviting artists to the residency programs, not with a leading festival in Ukraine, but festivals taking this artist in other countries. And the question is if it could be 2, because the 3rd one would be in Ukraine and would not be able to host this artist for category 3. For category 1, the programmers would anyway come to the artist, as Donika just explained. So, but we will verify this.
But it's not limited. If
No.
the artist can also go, it's even better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe to attend the other festivals as well. It
Yeah.
would be interesting for him, for her, for the artist.
Yeah, maybe we should put at least 3 partners.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so follow up is we will share a Google Drive with you. In this Google Drive, you find already the PowerPoint presentation and so forth that we are sharing with you. You will find the logo already, and you can already find those communication tools that are in place. We are coming back. We have noted down all the comments, and even though we have not spoken about each of the comments, we will not simply just send you the minutes of the meeting or the report of the meeting, but we will come with replies and with conclusions from your remarks. And I hope that they can be taken up in a positive way, and that we indeed are ready to share the announcement as soon as you can in your communication tools. We will do this tomorrow afternoon. And that we can invite indeed for the 13th of October people and your members to join the meeting that we are preparing. And we will also share the agenda with you for this meeting before and give you a role maybe in this meeting as well, because if your members are coming, I think it's important that there is a clear role for you in this meeting as well. And then we are preparing all for the launch on the 14th of October within the next 3 weeks. That's enough time. Huh?
One more thing, the slides we will send you, of course, we will put everything in Drive, but beforehand, we will confirm the eligible countries. But we'll do that today. I mean, now.
Okay, as I write in the chat, thank you all for your contribution. If there is any additional questions or suggestions from the presentation that you still come up with, don't hesitate to call, phone, write emails, and you know where we are. Thanks all.
Bye
We
bye.
see you the 13th, I hope.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Katrien, 11:15, is dat
Ja,
goed?
dat is goed.
11:15.
Kunnen we 11:30